Alrighty, so we are back. I am Erin. This is the Superfun local show. We air every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. I usually have just local bands. Last week I had a photographer in. I'm trying to expand out to more different people because those people are just as involved in the scene as local bands. But again, Superfun local show airs every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. broadcasting live from the Millennium students that are at UMSL. This is UMSL Radio, the U. And I am here with Tyler Kasch this week. Tyler is in a band called Tear Out the Heart. They are pretty good and moderately successful, if I do say so myself. Awesome for you. But you do some other stuff too. You do some promotion and for bands and booking and your own band. You have Count It, which is the best thing ever. So why don't we talk about some of that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I have a short attention span. I feel like I like to dabble with a lot of different stuff. So I don't consider it's hard to like exactly pinpoint what I do, but I guess you could call it promotion. Because one day, how it all started was Pops actually hit me up. Rich
Rich is the best.
He's awesome, and he hit me up and he said, "You're in this band that does great things for Pops. We really appreciate that. Have you ever thought about like DJing?" And I was like, "No, I don't know how to DJ. I'm not a DJ." He goes, "That's cool. You don't have to be." He's like, "Do you have an iPod?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, well, I will pay you money and get you free drinks if you can bring these people over to Oz nightclub after Pops." And he's like, "All you got to do is just put together a playlist of people that have a good time." And I was like addicted to it instantly. Like I was just like, "This is awesome." Like it's all the fun parts of promoting like a show without having to keep an account all the bands,
right,
and all the people in
and
bands,
babysit them.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's what I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to say. You got to show up here, and and I always knew that I was the more responsible one. That's why I was always the guy promoting and setting up everything, and I loved it. And I did a thing for, man, I want to say like 4 or 5 years called The Party.
I've seen the pictures
over at the East Side with working with Rich and Pops and the Oz. And that kind of spawned into wanting to do something a little bit more low key across the river back home in St. Louis. And it started at a place called Nellie Glenn's. And there was a song by a band called Hit the Lights called Count It. And the drink specials were $3 pitchers and $2 wells and $1 cans. So I was just like, okay, I could see that. And I had a buddy of mine that I worked with, and he always be like, "Hey man, you want to go out and drink?" And he'd be like, "Count it." And I was like, "Cool, that'll work." So we did this thing, and I started, playing, more punk rock music and bringing that kind of community into bars because we just got tired of going to bars and then running up their jukebox and spending
expensive.
and then most of the time
they don't have the best selection either.
They don't. Most of the times, like they would skip our songs, like if they didn't like them, and so this way it was like, okay, well, we're gonna stick it to the man and do that. And I did I even did the Sunday night local show for a little bit, like the Sunday Night Ritual was what it was called.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, and I DJ'd like live at the Oz for a little bit through 105.7 The Point, and it was funny. I was playing more metalcore and more pop punk, Day to Remember and stuff that like they don't traditionally play, and kids were like wondering. They're like, "Oh, well, that's cool. I'm hearing metalcore on The Point. This is rad. Like, where can I go and do this?" And it kind of became like a weekly community, like a party, and that's what we're doing today. Like to the day, it's
evolved through several different places. Like you said, you started at Nellie Glenn's. There was another place in between. I can't remember.
Dude, I've been at so many.
And then there was Cicero's, which I started going when it was at Cicero's. I remember my first time I saw the flyer for it, and I was like, "This looks really cool. I don't have anything going on tonight. I wonder if I'm going to know anybody, if this is going to be weird. But hey, you know what? It's free and it's drink specials. And worst case scenario, I spent, a quarter tank of gas to get there. And I loved it instantly. Sometimes you do trivia.
Yeah, that's Cicero's is when we started changing it up. We did acoustic acts, we did trivia, we did open mic before. We just trying to change it up, know. And Cicero's is awesome, and Jay was rad to work with, and it has jumped to a few venues, and each time was never really a negative reason why. It just I kind of like it that way.
It's probably like
To
it
be
goes
honest-
back into the
to be honest
evolution
with
thing.
you, yeah, like it's
And keeps it interesting.
Yes, it does. And nostalgia does bum me out. Like it does. Like it's like, oh man, I really remember what it was like to be at Cicero's or Nellie Glenn's. But we still have those memories, and we're still building on them.
Right.
And you know, we're getting ready to. We just had the 6-year anniversary, which was awesome.
It was Wednesday, yeah. And those photos that Sarah took from Kellen were, and I'm sorry to push it, that's a photographer I had in last week, and I love her. She's so good.
No, and I didn't ask her to do that either.
No,
And
she's just awesome.
She just willingly did it and did a great job, and she's awesome. And I've actually, I like the Strikes Back guys. I think they're awesome.
no,
Chad's
they're
rad, and him and I and a couple of dudes from Former Me have actually been chatting about like getting like a side project together.
Nice.
So that's why like we were usually all in the same room anyways,
Right.
but that's why Chad was out, because we really wanted to, you know, kind of get the ball rolling on that. And like I said, just keep evolving, keep doing something new.
And it really is again, I go every week, so I mean, maybe I'm a little biased, but like I always know, even, and there's some weeks like it was this week, there was 60 people there. There's been some weeks that there's more, and there's some people that 6 people there. But I always know someone. I always see a familiar face. It's always great music. You know, by midnight we're all singing along. You know,
Yeah,
and it's just like, it really is. It's like a house party on steroids.
Yeah,
I think
that's perfect. Yeah, no, it makes me. You don't feel like you're in a bar. Like I don't think, you know, it's always been fun, and I've kept it up. And actually, we chatted about it a little bit. I feel like it would be weird not to say that what we're gonna do, but it's gonna stay. I won't get completely into the details, but we are gonna. It's starting back up on Wednesday nights, March 8th. March 8th,
Okay.
and I'll be announcing the new home, but it's a lot closer than you think, and we're staying in the Grove, so it'll have that. It'll have that same nostalgia because it'll be in the same area, but the building would be changing, the venue.
And that's awesome. You know, I'm excited to see what happens. I'll still be there. And anybody that's listening, St. Louis area people, I'm sure there might be some people outside of St. Louis because you're kind of sort of famous. But make sure you know, just come and check it out. There's no cover.
Never
There's usually really awesome drink specials. It's pretty stellar music. You sometimes take requests, and
hey, as long as it's in the pop punk realm,
it's all pop punk.
Yeah,
usually.
if it's in punk rock or like rock, alternative rock, we always 100%.
I do remember
that.
one time Kyle played Last Resort, and that was very interesting.
You know, and even that's okay. Papa Roach is okay. It's the problem when someone wants to hear like the new Drake. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but I got to keep to what this night is, what the night is about.
Right. Okay, well, we got a break again, and I'm actually going to go ahead. I had a couple of requests, and I checked with you that it was okay. There's a couple people listening in that wanted to hear the new Former Me song, Crawl. It's not released anywhere yet, so the only places you can hear it are on this show or the local show with Cornbread. So I asked you if you were okay with that. You said you were. We're going to listen to that, come back, talk about Tear Out the Heart a little bit more, and then listen to some of your music. So this is the Former Me with Crawl. Maybe if I can get it to play. Come on, why is it not playing? Wow. Pat, you want to help? No. Yeah, there it goes.
Automation isn't on.